Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Live. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you would like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live, and there's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below the video. Most importantly, if you'd like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the nature of Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel. So please share the show on Facebook and Twitter. Now we are joined by, if I can bring up the page, Neil, Arwin, Paul, and a whole bunch of people in Gilded. So welcome, one and all.
Hello, good afternoon.
Hey, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. So I've been finding out over the weekend that the Gilded server is starting to build in popularity, and other YouTubers are starting to acquire their own rooms in the server, and hopefully that will develop into more and more people hanging around in the Gilded server, which eventually I'll get the name right of. But Gilded is relatively new and now owned by the Roblox people, as I'm reliably informed by Paul. And it's not even out of beta, or it's just out of beta, one or the other, and hopefully it'll become a proper competitor to Discord, and therefore it'll have tertiary popularity that'll just come by way of it being a decent competing platform with Discord. However, regardless of whether or not we had any popularity on Discord or otherwise, in this case Gilded, you've got to build that up, and it's nice to see that people like Flatsoid are joining. Obviously, there's myself and Quantum Eraser. Mitchell from Australia's got himself a room in there. So it's one of those. It's starting to build as a network, as was the case when we first joined Discord. There was nobody in there for the first few months. And it did take a little while for people to toddle along. And indeed me, because I didn't use it immediately, even though it was offered to me. Excuse me. So if you haven't joined already, it's well worth joining. It's going to become more and more popular as time goes by. And you can become one of the OG members of the Gilded Flat Earth Science versus Pseudoscience server. If you would like to join, there is a link in the info box. It's not just the link to join as I advertise it as the public gateway. So obviously, if you want to challenge anything that we say here moving forward, you can click that link. I know I've just waffled through my way in this in the intro, but it's worth reiterating, because obviously if you're here and you just hear the same thing over and over again, sometimes it doesn't have any meaning when you've heard it more and more times. So I'll reiterate the fact that if you did want to come in and you are a concave believer, you can, and you can challenge anything that's being said at any point, but via the public gateway, which is through Gilded. And for those of you who have joined, you can see more and more as time goes by that there's people hanging around in the server chatting away nicely, which is the most important thing when it's a social networking server, which is obviously the same as Discord was and was built up and then taken away, and will be in the future built up in Gilded. But yeah, if you want to become an OG member of the Gilded server, join now. The link is in the info box below this video. So there you go. There's a double intro with the same information twice as the start of a show. 2-for-1 introductions. And that, Ace, how are you, Arwin? You had a good show?
Yeah, man, today's show was great. I mean, I didn't have a show yesterday because I was kind of feeling under the weather, but yeah, I certainly came back with a vengeance today. So it was very active, very flat Earth related. The theme was mostly about orbits and like supposed zero G and how that actually technically doesn't work. And that even some French sounding guy apparently figured out how to balance that. And then realizing that it's just being ignored. Like, yeah, it was established that you can't actually find a stable zero G point theoretically anywhere, because there's always a gravitational pull somehow, like of the sun. But then somebody calculated to basically account for that. But guess what? That's never applied in anything. In movies, in NASA technology, it's just not talked about because it's so inconvenient. It was hysterical.
Is there a housekeeping question I can ask related to that? Scientific evidence of gravity, perhaps?
Yeah, it was still all based on Newtonian mechanics, of course, which, yeah, they have to do because that's the only way they can actually build a model of the solar system, except for Mercury, right? There's no other system. Einsteinian gravity only has one body of attraction at all times, and you can't build a multiple body system with that. So they still use Newtonian mechanics for that. They have no other choice.
You mean the non-force force that you can think of as force, but not a force?
No, in this case, it is a force. It's been disclaimed, supposedly, but that's still the only thing they can use.
Well, let's ask the question officially as the first housekeeping question. Not often the case that we ask about gravity as the first question. Any scientific evidence of gravity?
No, it's not science.
Well, Newtonian mechanics would have been great if he would have included gas behavior, but yeah, he couldn't, and he didn't.
Yeah, it is a lot easier.
I think if you ask,
Go on, Jorge.
if you ask for mathematical proof of gravity, you're going to find lots of it, but not scientific proof.
Well, science is physics, isn't it? Phys is the physical,
That's correct.
physical and natural world, whereas mathematics isn't science. I'm sick of it, and people abuse it as well. People on overclocking forums literally talking about the numbers, the frame rates of computers that they can spit out, and they're like, "Hit this statistical analysis in a graph is just for the science of it." You're like, what science? What are you talking about? This is maths. This is adding up numbers, showing them on screen. It's not science at all. But in their mind, if you're really carefully logging some numbers, you're doing science. It's like, you're not. But it lends credence to their numbers when they say it's science. Just for the science means just for the empiricism of my numbers. Yeah, you haven't got that empiricism because science is dealing with the physical and natural world. Physics, that's the overhanging umbrella of all science. It's dealing with the physical. Anyway, not the numbers. Any single viable hypothesis from any of the fields of astronomy, cosmology, or astrophysics?
Once again, it's no science and no hypothesis, no.
How about a unified solar system model with gravity that's based on just one formula, right? I mean, it's the solar system, right? It's like as close as you can get for the religion of heliocentrism. That's kind of what it's based on. So where is this single formula that would result in the solar system functioning the way it seems to do?
A couple of problems in that. You've got a reification and a burden of proof reversal fallacy. So you're asking me where the formula is that will be calculable into the, and you did disclaim it, you did say into the model. But your implication is that the mathematics will give you the world if you have the formula, or give you the explanation for the world. But it's, again, not related, is it? It might give you a working model of the world, but that's a reification fallacy. We're not living on a model. We live in the world, and no amount of maths will be causal in terms of the physics we attribute to the world when you describe them with mathematics. That's not going to cause anything. Therefore, it's not a physics-based question again. So your implications of asking about the model are strictly accurate, but it's the implication of it being physical that you're alluding to with lots and lots of words, and I've had to now pull apart and even more.
Well, from a theorist's perspective, from somebody who comes up with ideas and then potentially goes and figures out if that's physically real, wouldn't you have to start with a singular system in order to even go and attempt to prove it physically?
Maybe,
right?
But that's asked about face if you're dealing with the physical world, because if you're dealing with the physical world, you deal with the physical world first. You don't start with a formula and then move forward with a modelling of the physical world based on a starting point that you maybe refine, if that's what you're implying. No, you start the other way around. You don't start with the quantification. You start with the physical. You're looking at and studying the physical world with physics. That's the phys bit.
I know. That's really down to earth. I'm just saying that even if they have this fantastical, complicated idea of things that are outside of our reach, and you want to somehow suggest that's real, you would have to at least start with one singular, consistent formula or system for that. And they don't even have that. That was my point. No viable hypothesis in the universe fields.
You don't need to work on the really is level, isn't it?
Exactly, because Arwen's kind of moaning that even on a non-physical reified level, now I'll use as a word for that replacement, but you're moaning that they don't even have that, a way of taking the conceptual into a working model, working or otherwise. But who cares? You need to, as Jorge's just said, moan at them for not working at the really is level, not for not having conceptualizations that can work out in models. That's not something to be bitter about. Or unless you're saying they haven't even got that.
That's exactly what I was saying.
Then yeah, it's pretty pathetic, isn't it? You'd think they'd have a model to present.
Well, if the model is wrong, we'll correct the model, no problem.
But then it would have to be consistent and based on a singular system, and not just grafted together like some Frankenstein's monster, which it is right now.
Yeah, we haven't got... Well, there isn't one. When you ask them for a model, it'll normally be some graph that gets presented to you for some claim of some effect that they're describing working on a sphere when you presuppose it. So that's normally what they'll give you when you're asked, like, well, how does that work in the model? Here, look at my charts for refraction on a sphere based on a derivation of R. And you're like, that's not a model. Yeah, it is. This is how it works in the model. Well, just show me the model then. Let's see it. There isn't one. There is no globe model.
Would that be like bending through air as opposed to a physical change in the size of the globe?
No, it's physical change in the size of their reified globe in the model at 7/6 of its own radius value. So that's got nothing to do with there at all.
So light bending through air has absolutely nothing got to do with 7/6 order.
Or to rephrase that, terrestrial refraction, otherwise known as 7/6R, or standard refraction, or most importantly, atmospheric refraction. So atmospheric refraction, also known as 7/6 of the radius value in its mathematical derivation, or anything other than whatever they like to apply to rather than 7/6, it could be anything. Infinite over R refraction, right? That's what terrestrial refraction, or atmospheric refraction, or standard refraction actually is. It has absolutely nothing to do with light deviating from straight when you traverse a different medium. That's Snell's law or refraction.
Yeah, so it's nothing to do with light bending or the bending of light or lasers through being made bend through sugar water or anything like that. It's got to do with an actual physical size change in the radius of the globe, changing the overall surface size. So it's nothing to do with light or heat or anything.
Only because you've said physical. No, changing the radius value of a globe in a model, in that model, which isn't a complete model either. But that's not physical.
No, but their claim is that, but the point I'm making is to do with their claim. Hello, everyone. Hello, Nathan, by the way.
Hey, Brian.
Their claim is refraction, but that's not what 7/6 or is. Standard refraction, terrestrial refraction, is not refraction of light. It is an actual claimed physical change in the size of their globe model.
Correct. So it's a change of the size of the globe in their model, but there's no physical attributable change. But what you're saying is, if you were to reify the model of the globe, in this instance with curve mathematics, into physical reality, it's not. It's a circle with you seeing the side of your own head. But if you were to say that circle that you're stood on, seeing the side of your own head in their model, was the physical globe they're claiming the world to be, then that physical circle simply increases in size at a rate of 7/6 of the radius. That's what you're saying. Yes, that is what I'm saying.
Yes. Sorry. Yes, I have to get back to the phone.
Yes.
It's not. Yeah. So when they show you, because you brought up the diagram earlier, when they show you a diagram of someone's eyesight bend and what they're seeing bending from their eye line around a curved surface, that is not 7/6R. Because that can happen on a flat plane. It has nothing to do with anything. That's not 7/6R. That is not light bending over a sphere. That is the sphere flattening out to a calculation for their sphere to grow to a size of looking as if it has flattened out for an observer. It is not the bending of the observer's view over a curved surface.
And nor is the representation in the mathematics. That isn't your view either, because you're seeing the side of your own head in that representation at that derivation with 7/6R. Any derivation of it represented pictorially will have the side of your own head.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. I mean, it's an unnatural view, but the point I'm making is that when they show you this in a diagram, or show someone this in a diagram, this bending of the light from someone's eye view, eye line, going over a curved surface, that is not 7/6R. 7/6R is the curved surface that they're claiming the light is being bent over is actually straightening out. Not that the light is bending around it. That is actually straightening out because it's for the observer, because they are claiming that it physically grows in size. This is their claim. Now,
Yes.
It's total nonsense, but that's their claim.
If
so
we
when they
accept
show you
that the
things like those
circle...
diagrams, they're false equivalencies.
Yes, if we accept that the circle in the diagram is supposed to be representative of the world that we're being told that diagram represents, i.e. a globe world, then 7/6R is merely them blowing up the globe, flattening it out because you can see too far. That's what you're mathematically doing, increasing the sphere size. However, what they say and call that effect, that's, remember what we're talking about, 7/6R in its standard format, they relabel that terrestrial refraction. So blowing up the ball in the maths is terrestrial refraction by name. Does that mean that 7/6 of a radius value you're presupposing has anything to do with light at all? No, it's still 7/6 of a radius value. What's that you say you've renamed it? Atmospheric refraction. I see. So it sounds like atmo, air, sphere, that's air sphere refraction. So refraction in the sphere air? No, it's 7/6 of a radius though, isn't it? So then they relabeled it again. It's standard refraction at 7/6R. The standard being that it's going to be 7/6R in standard format, but still 7/6 of a radius value. What's that? Standard refraction is the name of 7/6R, but that's nothing to do with air, nothing to do with light, nothing to do with seeing anything, and still just 7/6 of a radius value that you've presupposed and put into Muppet vision so you can see the side of your own head. And then they lie to you, which is Brian's point, I'll get there in the end, that they put the original sphere that they've blown up at 7/6R and put part of the arc of 7/6R on top of it, coming out your eyeball when you see the side of your own head. Now that is not what they're doing with that maths. At all. They're blowing up an imaginary circle that you see the side of with you standing on it, seeing the side of your own head, up by a rate of 7/6R, and then relabeling it standard, or atmospheric, or terrestrial refraction, which it's not. Good point, Brian. Any evidence of the R value, Earth radius, and also shout out to Godzilla37, who says, "Morning, Chocolate said earlier at Arwin's, but apparently my chats don't go through there. Oh, hi, Nathan. Yeah, hi, Godzilla. And I know, but he'll see it." Smiley face. Thank you, Godzilla, for the super chats. Really appreciate them. Any evidence of the R value, Earth radius?
Mr. Sensible has been saying that the Mage 2 footage proves Earth curve.
Mage 2's got a horizon in it. Is he claiming that the horizon's Earth curve again?
I can't quite make that clear out of him. He won't answer that question.
I already established that with Mr. Sensible. He thinks the horizon is Earth curve. We've only got one horizon, and the horizon in there begging the question proof of nothing perspective hijacking Earth curve calculator is marked with an X and labelled horizon. That's what he thinks he's showing in the Mage footage.
And the mage footage goes from concave to convex at random as well.
Yeah, but the horizon's not Earth curve. We debunked that in 2020. Is he claiming that you go up high and suddenly the horizon that we debunked at ground level with the black swan suddenly becomes Earth curve again? No, it's the same horizon.
Yes, I think so.
Yeah, he's just forgotten that the horizon is an Earth curve. If the Earth was a sphere with a radius of 3959 miles, then every distance to the horizon, same one in Mage, could be no more than 1.2 times the square root of the observer's height in feet. And the black swan shows the horizon, same one in the Mage images, beyond the geometric limitations of an Earth sphere radius 3959. Oh, what's that you say, Mr. Sensible? At best, you've debunked the radius of the Earth? All right. So based on the horizon not being Earth curve blocking our view, we've at best debunked the radius. Yeah, that's right. So what you were going to assert with your pictures of a horizon from Mage? The horizon's not Earth curve.
Well, that would be Mr. Sensible trying to claim that 7/6R is not present when you go up higher, and also claiming that 7/6R is an actual is light actually bending from an observer's eye.
Sorry,
As
he's
opposed
saying
to-
light not bending at 7/6 are not applicable when you go up high. If the Earth was a sphere with a radius of 3959, where did I say, and add on 7/6R? No, those are your physical geometric limitations of an Earth sphere radius 3959. And the limitation you claim is at the horizon. Are you writing this down, Mr. Sensible? You got a pen?
Yeah, well, remember we were just talking about there, just prior to that question, prior to this topic coming up, about 7/6R. How they first of all do a bait and switch with actual refraction, like Snell's law, and they then give you a diagram that shows the light coming from what you're seeing, your view bending down over a spherical surface. See, Mr. Sensible is trying to claim that when you go up high, that you just see the actual globe. That's what he was trying to claim. So the horizon becomes geometric when you go up high. But what he's forgetting about is that, well, he's not forgetting about it. He probably is because he doesn't know his own model. Is that what we just talked about a minute ago is 7/6R has absolutely nothing to do with someone's observed anything. It's got to do with a physical change in the size of his globe, and not
further to that,
the bending of light.
Again, regardless of geometry, he doesn't understand what a black swan is. It's like saying there's no black swans. They don't exist. And then someone shows you a black swan. At that point, what are you going to do? Keep showing the person white swans? Right, we've debunked the horizon as Earth curve. You only have to show it's not a physical geometric limitation once. And it's no longer a physical geometric Earth curve edge at the horizon. That's it. It's over. These people are thick. If he thinks that, oh, we'll go up high and the refraction's not... What, the refraction straw man that you threw at us as a rebuttal isn't an issue? Are you slow?
You cannot see the
Morning,
Earth
guys.
curve from that altitude. That stuff is flat.
So, don't buy into Mr. Tyson's one of his best magic tricks. So, automatically assuming that we can't see the, slow it down a little bit more, Earth curve horizon from that altitude. So it's still an Earth curve horizon, like the ball he holds up and says that the ant can't see past the Earth curve horizon by equivalence on the ball, with its geometric limitation, because it's actually a ball with a hill between the ant and its view beyond the hill that is the edge of the ball. Yeah, that's what they claim Earth curve horizon is. But if the Earth was a sphere with a radius of 3959 miles, then every distance to horizon measurement could be no more than 1.2 times the square root of the observer's height in feet. Exactly as laid out in their quasi-Earth curve maths model. That's what they're saying Earth curve is. It was debunked 1st Jan 2020 when we showed the horizon beyond the limitations of a hill getting in the way. Therefore, the horizon is not a hill getting in the way, aka Earth curve. Any evidence of a physical geometric sphere edge horizon formally, as of 2020 1st Jan, known as the Earth curve it's seen in Mage, Dumbo? Any evidence of that?
No, but there is a lot of claims about somebody seeing it at some point, but we haven't verified any of those things.
Mr. Sensible's got an open door that he could walk through. What is typically the first question we ask after we open the live show? Any evidence of a physical geometric sphere edge horizon formerly known as Earth curve? Yeah, that's what he's pointing at in his stupid... Come on the show and show us. What am I doing? Why am I taking this tone? Oh, really? Mage shows Earth curve? Oh, no. Please don't let Mr. Sensible join the show and have his arse ripped through his own throat.
Well, look, you can see the Earth curve. People can be seeing the Earth curve, but as soon as you want to actually calculate where it is and all that, you're going to have to use a flat plane to do that.
Well, hold on, Nathan. By what you're saying about smoking the grass, Tyson. So did he give us the first version of? Oh, you would expect to see the geometric horizon. Is that what you're saying? Like he gave us the first version of that?
No, he slapped a beach ball and explained how for the ant 2 millimeters above, a restriction in geometry to his view with the physical ball getting in the way, the beach ball he's holding, has got a geometric horizon. You can measure how much gets in the way for the ant, implying that your horizon is the same as the ball's geometric limitation. And they give you the maths for the Earth ball geometric limitation at the horizon. Are we all getting this? It's only been 2 years.
I don't know. Kind of does sound like he's saying, yeah, you wouldn't expect to see this Earth curve. I mean, he's literally saying that, like, in literal terms, like, oh, you wouldn't expect to see the curvature.
No, that's not what he's actually saying. What he's actually saying, you wouldn't expect to see the horizon bend. He's just not using those words because he's clever and a good magician. So he's not saying you wouldn't expect the horizon to bend at high altitude. That stuff is flat. Oh, really? But that's not how we define your sphere edge in your mathematics when you claim it blocks stuff in the distance. It's not about it bending, even though it's Earth curve. It's about it blocking things in the distance, isn't it? So when he says that stuff is flat, we wouldn't expect to see what I now make you with magic believe to be an Earth curve edge at the horizon at this altitude. It's a very clever magic trick.
Yeah, he's kind of saying, well, you'll never see Earth curve, and you'll never ever experience it when you're trying to look out over this geometric horizon. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So long as you're assuming that the horizon is a geometric limitation, like this ant in this example I'll give you, where there's clearly a limitation to the ant's view at the edge of the beach ball, isn't there, lads and lasses? Oh, yeah. Well, that's your horizon by the way he casts his magic spell. Well, the horizon's not Earth curve. 1st Jan 2020, we debunked it, Black Swan. You only have to do it once. It doesn't suddenly become a horizon that you say is Earth curve when you go up in altitude.
And the magic trick is beautiful because he's got the prop of his magic wand, aka the beach ball globe, that he sits there and slaps and tells you, this thing that I'm holding right here that you all live on, you'll never see this. Like, what? It's insane.
I've got a lot of admiration for him. You know, Tyson is right up there with magic tricks. And I studied magic at college. I'm not even joking. I even worked on a stand in Stratford selling magic tricks. So I'm not saying that his is the same as throwing cards out and stuff or juggling fire. Magic is words, grammar. That's what magic really is. And that's what he's got
He's
very,
more like
very
the
good.
3-card Monty guy. Like the 3-card Monty guy on the corner.
Yeah. I used to sell all of that shit. But anyway, the point is that this is a different level of magic. Far, far, far superior to what people consider to be magic. Because they consider it to be me flogging them juggling balls that set on fire. Or whatever else. Some card trick that's got a trick deck or whatever. That's what people think magic is. Well, yeah, it is to a degree. That's sleight of hand illusionary is magic, if you want to label it that. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about spells and spelling and grammar. That's what we're talking about. And constructing the words that make you do things. I went through this when we first started Flat Earth UK. And I explained that a magic trick in its most simplistic form is you producing a cup of tea without lifting a finger. Or a soft drink. So you can all try this at home if there's someone around. But you don't have to move an inch. You just move your lips and ask the nearest person in a nice, polite way if they'll make you a drink. And lo and behold, a drink will appear, as if by magic, just by the power of words. You might go, oh, that's really obvious. Yeah? Well, study a bit closer. Because with these words, Neil deGrasse Tyson, without necessarily letting you realise it, has got you to reify your horizon into the edge of the beach ball. And he's done it in a way that makes you feel like you better believe him while he's slapping the ball. There's multifaceted levels of deception in what Neil deGrasse Tyson does in that particular outtake. With him slapping a beach ball and saying that stuff is flat, it works on many levels. But its most critical part is getting you, the person listening to him, to reify the horizon into the leading edge of a sphere Earth. A physical, geometric limitation to your view that blocks boats and buildings. So when he says you won't expect to see it at a high altitude, he's talking about it curving in your peripheral view. Okay, maybe even in the model it shouldn't. I've had that demonstrated to me in the maths. But it doesn't make the horizon Earth curve. Unless he makes you reify it into it whilst holding a beach ball and telling you how an ant will see a geometric limitation on a beach ball. That's how it works. You just have to pull it apart layer by layer. There's a bit in there for the flat earthers. Him saying that stuff is flat is in there for a reason.
That's correct. You know what the funny thing is, Nathan? My brother was over yesterday, and he's telling me, yeah, but Bezos is offering anybody to go up to see the curve of the Earth. Now, I was trying to explain to him the horizon is not Earth curve, but he's just not getting it.
Yeah, because it's been
what's also
cemented
good
in
about
everyone's
that
brain.
trick, though?
Go on, sorry.
You know what's also good about that trick? Because remember back then, like there was a lot of talk of high altitude balloon footage and whether it's using, what type of lens that it's using, right? Remember that was all the rage back then. But it's funny because while he's doing that, performing that trick, he kind of affirms that, yeah, the lenses you're going to get up there, like the wide angle lens that he said that Felix Baumgartner was using, like he pretty much confirmed that for like you say, like for the flat earthers, I guess. So he's debunking that the Earth curve is the horizon that you see while holding his magic wand globe and telling you wouldn't see it. And then telling you at the same time, but yeah, when these guys go up there, the lenses they use might not be very accurate.
Perfect. So exactly, I forgot that. So he's contextualized that he's not talking about how Earth curve is quantified mathematically in their model of Earth curve mathematics on screen now. That is done away with when he says, oh no, you don't have the curve of the Earth through these fisheye lenses. What's he describing? He's describing horizontal curvature from center view to periphery, curving in that axis. That's what he's describing and debunking. So therefore, when he says you're not going to see that at altitude, he's saying you're not going to see the curve of the Earth like you do in the Superman view when he goes up high enough to see it curving in his peripheral view. You're not going to get that, is what he's telling you you're not going to get. What you will get, I'm now going to make you reify by holding a beach ball and telling you how the geometric edge of the beach ball blocks the view for the ant. Therefore, we've connected the two. It's got a geometric view into the distance like for the ant, but the ant's not seeing it curve left to right. That's how he's doing the trick. Yeah, I forgot that bit. Well done. Good catch.
Yeah, and the
Chocolate.
flat Earth is bought at hook, line, and sinker. Look, even Neil deGrasse Tyson says that stuff is flat.
Yeah.
Yesterday he was saying he was pushing the Bezos nonsense. I said, John, you will never see that sphere Earth. Only
You're breaking up, Neil. But yeah, you never get that view. That's a math powerland argument. Very strong one it is too. You're never going to get the view from the second law of thermodynamics violation sky vacuum, because there is no space to view Earth from a sphere-y perspective. You don't get that view. No one gets that view. There is no outer space. Is there any evidence that you can have gas pressure as we're all breathing?
1 second.
Go on.
Sorry. Very quickly. Just a summary of what Neil deGrasse Tyson was actually stating. What he was actually doing was trying to tell all the people who believe in a globe that to stop looking for Earth curvature because you won't find it. You can't find Earth curvature on this globe or on. That's what he was really saying.
Yeah, but he's qualifying how you will see it by the way the ant sees it. The ant has a restriction to its view in the distance because of the geometric limitation to its view. But he's only 2 millimeters above it, so he's not going to see the curve of the Earth, meaning left to right, when you're slap, 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 2 millimeters above this beach ball. No, you won't see curving left to right if you're an ant 2 millimeters above something that definitely does have a geometric limitation at 2 millimeters. The sphere isn't representative of the world we live in, though, is it? The sphere he's holding isn't the world. Our horizon isn't a limitation like the ant would have. On the contrary,
Well,
we debunked it.
no.
It was a permission issue. He gave them permission to keep believing in geometric horizons and globes, even though after telling them you'll never see any of this curvature. That's what it seemed like to me.
He says you will not see the curve of the Earth from slap, 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 2 millimeters above this beach ball. So he links the two together. Curve of the Earth, 2 millimeters above the beach ball. Again, plausible deniability. Well, I never talked about you seeing it at the horizon, did I? I told you, word for word, that you wouldn't see curve of the Earth above the beach ball. Well, that seems reasonable, does it not? So his wordsmithing is so good that he keeps himself out of trouble. There's very few things that, unless I contextualise them for him, I can hold him to task on. If you go through Neil deGrasse Tyson's work and try and find a soundbite that stands alone, without you having to contextualise what he actually means, you won't find... Well, I'm sure you can find one, but it's difficult to find one that's good. Because he's so careful with his words that when things could be contextualised precisely as he says and then proven wrong, he doesn't have enough meat on the bones of the things he's saying. But it simultaneously offers enough to let you know exactly what he's talking about with balls deflecting at 1/3 of an inch to the right because of the Earth's rotation. You know damn well he's talking about turning Earth. You just don't realise he's saying Earth's turning under the football because he doesn't say it in the words that make it explicit. Just implied.
He's a master with words. Am I still breaking up, Nathan?
No, you're a bit better now.
Okay, so here's the thing. That's why these Bezos and all of this stuff is going on, because to a normie like my brother, that horizon is Earth curve, and you could see it if you would go up in that rocket.
Any evidence you can have gas pressure? Any interruption? Without a container?
Negative.
No.
Nope.
So in that one question, we rendered the entire conversation we just had moot. Because you can't have gas pressure. That's something we all breathe. Yeah? We are living in a pressurized environment. We are at pressure. You can't have that without containment. It's not possible. Therefore, the sky is not a vacuum. It's not what they claim it is. Outer space is fake. So there's no trips to Mars. There's no trips to the moon. There's no orbits. None of it. It's all lies. Every last bit of it. Because it all
Well, that's
takes
what I
place
said
in
to-
space. Go on.
That's what I said to him right after that. I brought up the gas pressure. They don't comprehend it. They still bring up gravity, and that holds the gas particles right where they are so we can all breathe. It all works out.
Show us gas pressure without a container, because that's what it's saying is the case. No,
No,
gravity holds
no,
gas to
no,
the
no.
Earth without any containment. Okay, show me gas pressure without containment then, so I know it's physically possible, not just described by an appeal to your model. That's a begging the question fallacy. On its face, that's a begging the question
Oh,
fallacy. On a
no.
sphere Earth, gravity holds it to the sphere Earth? No.
Oh no, Nathan. Remember, we were corrected on this. We were asking the wrong question apparently the whole time. It wasn't, can you have gas pressure without a container? Remember, it was, can you have pressurized gas without a container?
Same thing.
Remember?
It's the same thing.
Right.
Don't mind rephrasing it. Can you have pressurized gas without a container?
No.
That is.
No, without a
Then-
container, there can be no pressure.
That was conspiracy cats.
Oh, so by the same guy. Funny that.
Yeah, you can't have gas pressure without containment. And there are no examples of gas pressure without a containment. Containment is an antecedent for gas pressure.
Wait. So why would the same guy who states without the balloon there could be no pressure also state the actual question is, can you have pressurized gas without a container?
Doesn't have an answer?
Sounds like maybe he should have a debate with himself.
Yeah, all
Work
these
that
people
out
are
a little
muppets.
bit.
Same goes for Mr. Sensible earlier. It's like, if he's presumably rehashing his old garbage and telling people that you can have Earth curve visible from his balloon or whatever Mage is, well, okay. So why hasn't he come and pummeled us when we ask that exact question daily? Any evidence of physical geometric sphere edge horizons? Why wouldn't he be here telling us how stupid we are and showing us Mage? Oh, is it because we've absolutely ripped the arse out of it when it first came out and nothing has changed? In fact, he's told us how well we've done by telling us we debunked the radius of the Earth. Yeah, these people would be here pummeling us. It wouldn't be quiet from the ballers if they actually had something. They don't, but they mislead their audiences who are clearly dumb by telling them the same crap that's already been debunked, ignoring the debunking time and time and time again. Which is really no offence to Mr. Sensible. It's more a detriment to his audience, who are too stupid to realise. So if you're a Mr. Sensible audience member and go, oh yeah, Mage, the horizon's not Earth curve. I've told Mr. Sensible this. Now he's basically just lying to your face, rehashing his old garbage. So okay, if you're tolerant of somebody who's just going to literally lie to your face, then fine, more power to you. But surely he'd be putting his money where his mouth is and telling us how wonderful Mage is. He wouldn't be worried about black swans or anything, would he? No, he'd be throwing it in our face, telling us how stupid we were. He isn't, because it's not what he claims. It's been debunked the moment it came out. Mage, that is. The horizon's not Earth curve.
Who said pressurized gas? Was that the guy that
Cats.
remember Tommy Brummy debated him?
Yes,
And he
those
said he
cats.
was going to get back to the question, and he never
Cats.
did.
Yes.
Do you want to hear a little bit of dishonest sleight of hand from Mr. Sensible? One of the things I pointed out to him is that when he brought out his Mage 2 video, in the description, he linked the correct lens corrected version. But when he brought it out as a video, as like as a scheduled video to the public, he brought out his uncorrected lens video. And I said, why would you do that? Why would you do that? Why would you try to give the people who are naive of this topic the impression that Mage has seen all this curvature when it's not? So then I think he had to bring out another video or had to promote his corrected lens video. But even when you do lens correction, you won't get it 100% correct because the lens will always have a curve. But it does correct for maybe a good portion of it. But the point is that the video he first put out concerning Mage 2 was the uncorrected lens video, leaving out or just telling people that in the description was the corrected lens video. So the corrected version was in the description, but the video we putting out was the uncorrected version. Most people, he knew, were not going to go to the description to watch it. They were going to be just happy with what they see, which was a big curvy Earth. Now, obviously, it would go concave as well. But the point is that he doesn't have to think about that. He can just look at the stills where it was convex. You know, it was, and I said, why would you do that? There was no answer. It was very obvious why he did it. He was trying to give the impression that the uncorrected lens video was what was actually seen. If you were naive, that's what you'd start believing.
Right, so he's just appealing to the
Basically, he was
stupidest.
like, nah.
Well, it's just appealing to the stupidest member of the audience that just goes for literal visual affirmation of their own bias when they get there. They're hoping to see something, and if it's visually presented, they'll be pleased and show their thanks in the comments, presumably. It's just, he's appealing to, like I said, this is no offence to him. It's only in detriment to his audience. He's just being a YouTuber. I mean, you could say, oh, well, as a YouTuber, and I've told him, and blah, blah, blah. But yeah, well, he's a baller, isn't he? So that kind of is standard fare. Not that I'm forgiving him for it, but I'm saying if you're an audience member and you're too stupid to realise that, then that's your bad. That's really not his bad. You know, he's appealing to what you're looking for when you come to his video. You're looking for confirmation bias. Presumably, like most, him included, you're scared that it might not be a ball. And you want to know damn well that it is. That's why you're at Mr. Sensible's videos. So when he's like, there you go, look, Mage proves it. Oh, yeah, look, there it is. There's the curve of the Earth.
It's that blanket, man. They're looking for it. All these ballers, they're blanket salesmen, right? Because nobody's buying a used globe anymore.
Pain relief.
So they can't sell that. So they're selling the blankets, the comfy consensus blankets that allow all the ballers and all their silly audience to sleep very well at night, not have bad dreams that, oh my God, it's flat. Like the mayor of Chicago did one day, like ridiculousness. It's comfy blanket hustlers. That's what they are, man.
Exactly. It's, oh my God, it might not be as I thought. If it was actually a lie that the world's a globe, then I might have to spend some time actually considering what the world is and the other lies that have gone along with it. Oh my God.
Like, you know, when you're in physical pain, and most of us have encountered this. If you've been alive for a few decades, you've encountered it in your own life, where you're in physical pain, and some medical practitioner gives you an injection that takes it away when it's severe, whether it be like an injured back or something to do with your stomach or whatever. Right, you're in pain, and you get that, and you go. And I've seen it happen with people who, while I've been there, while they've got those injections. You know, when I've been with someone who's in a lot of pain and whatever, and they get this feeling, right? Chocolate did earlier on, I think, and that's what it is. It's like, there's the curve. Oh no, sorry, Nathan, you did it.
Well, I say share your pain, don't I? I say share your
One of
pain.
the best feelings in the world, that are feeling.
It's share your pain, because that's what they're experiencing.
Listen, when I saw that video made by that silly mayor of Chicago, that like 20-second video where for some reason or another they tried to link flat Earth with the nonsense that's going on in the rest of the world that I won't talk about. But like that's how they portrayed it. Like she woke up from a bad dream, like she was dreaming it was flat, and then woke up next to a globe and said, thank God.
I do have that video.
Yeah, I got that too. It's like,
Wait, what video is this?
Science is back, baby. She rubs the globe.
Exactly. It's so cringe. It's like, I don't know. Maybe you want to share it. Maybe Nathan can play it real quick, because it's just like, what is this? I don't know.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the video, so I'd like to see it.
Yeah, because waking up to being the mayor of present-day Chicago is not a nightmare at all.
Should we move on with a bit more housekeeping? Is this conversation drawn to a close? Any evidence of elevation angle measurement being acquirable from a curved adjacent or curved
That's an
baseline?
impossibility.
No, Proto proved that it's you absolutely need a horizontal plane to measure an elevation angle or an angular size measurement.
Okay.
I got a question, Brian.
Well,
How
I've got a
would you
question
do
actually.
it?
Is there any way we can get past that?
No, it's absolutely impossible. As Proto, who was a self-proclaimed expert on our opposing side, he proved it's impossible to ever get past that. You require the horizontal adjacent.
So what you're saying is, on a curved surface, you cannot get it. I want to know how you would do it.
I want to know how
I
we
wouldn't
get
do
past
it at
it.
all. It'd be impossible.
We need to get past that. You know, we don't want to get hung up on it for sure. But that's the advice we've been given from ballers. Don't get hung up on it. That flat plane requirement.
Oh, I see.
So, you know, maybe you can help us out, Globers. You know, we were told we just shouldn't get hung up on the flat plane that we all need and require to navigate the world that we live in. We've also been told it's got nothing to do with the ground when we navigate the ground that we live on and move around on. But, you know, those sort of things we sort of discounted pretty quickly. But, you know, we were also told don't get hung up on it. So if you can just tell us how do we do that exactly? How do we not get hung up on it?
Yeah, don't get hung up on that 90.
Well, you just go to step 2, forget step 1, go to step 2, and then just change it into a globe at some point later.
But what about if we've got to measure the angle? How do we do that?
Well,
So
that
go
would be
straight
a
to
tangent
step
plane that we would have to
2.
use.
How can I do that without measuring the angle?
You use a tangent plane.
You want to hear what my
Angle
wife said?
schmangle.
Hold on. This is what my wife
Just
said.
use
When
an
I was bringing this
imaginary
to her.
line.
As we're driving,
Thank God. Science is back, baby. And the earth is round, not flat.
Washing your hands does work.
Like, did you play it?
Yes.
The whole thing? 'Cause, like,
Oh, do you want more?
well, I mean, it's pretty much done. It's just the way it's almost like a weaponization of science, because look how they say science is back, baby. It's so weird, but why connect flat Earth to this nonsense? Like, it's so crazy, this video.
Well, according to recent comments, I won't say by who or what it's involved in, but science has a speed and it's difficult to keep up with.
Magical speed.
what?
Well, it would have to be.
Hold on. Repeat that.
I will later. I can't talk about it now. Not good for the show.
Okay. Any evidence of a self-perpetuating
It
molten iron core
involves
at the
the past
centre of
2
a...
years.
My bad. Go on.
Sorry, I didn't. I stepped on you. I'm sorry. It involves the past 2 years.
It's too intriguing
And a
to not
company
ask. Go on,
involved.
Brian. Fill us in.
You know what?
D-
Okay. Pfizer, spokeswoman for Pfizer.
Oh, no, I don't care. Don't care. Why did I ask?
Yeah, I wasn't.
No, blah, 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 blah.
I wasn't trying to bring up the past
No,
2
not
years.
for this show. Maybe
I
after
wasn't
the show.
trying to bring it up. I wasn't trying to bring it up. I was just talking about claims made about science.
I see.
Did you see it? Did you see how my wife said you can get angles on a basketball from the inside?
Go on
What?
then. Any evidence of a curved adjacent?
He said from the inside of the basketball you can get straight lines and angles.
Yeah, but what has that got to do with the surface?
From the surface. We're not in the...
Effing hysterical.
Yeah, you know, I'm not picking up what she's putting down, I'm afraid. So, molten iron core? Anybody at all?
The person did. No molten iron cores.
Negative.
To the preachers at the pulpit who say God made the earth with molten iron and tectonic plates.
Say plates.
Let's move on. Any evidence of the distance to the sun?
Just before you do, Nathan.
There's no sun out
something-
today.
Just before you do, one thing I want to say, just based on what Neil just said. On what authority does this preacher have to tell us about the world we live in? How did he verify any of this? These people who are in a position of authority, who have influence over large congregations of people, whether they be from a religious, spiritual standpoint, or from just a mainstream standpoint, mainstream science. Like, I mean, who are you to tell a huge amount of people what the world is without any verification?
Brian,
Does that not seem a
a
bit?
huge amount of people. He's got a TV ministry. That was on TV.
Yeah,
He
but it doesn't
asserted
matter.
this without any proof.
Yeah, but the point I'm making is, regardless of who the person is, once they have influence over a populace, and they're making claims like that, is that not the height of arrogance to make claims about and tell people about the world they live in without ever having learned or researched or verifying any of it, of what they're claiming?
That's the problem in the pulpit, Brian. They don't know.
Essentially telling you to negate all your senses because they're obviously wrong. I have the story that you need to believe. Your senses they don't know anything. Don't worry about that. Like, get out of here, Cloud.
Not only did he say it, he had a picture on his screen showing you the molten iron core in the center and all the layers of the earth and how God made it.
Yeah, and I watched some Dragon Ball Z this weekend. Same difference. Cartoons, great.
Yeah, but this preacher is someone who has an influence over his congregation, a spiritual influence over them, and he is telling them lies. He has not researched any of this, so essentially he's lying because it's not as if he can't research. He's just pushing a narrative onto his congregation. That man should be tore off of the pulpit. And I'm not a Christian, but that is just sacrilege.
It's just like the heliocentric model, isn't it? That's a bloody lie anyway. We've all been told that one.
Well,
Well,
what you
technically,
report in school, Brian.
yeah, but technically it's blasphemy to be, if you're he's blaspheming if he's a preacher who is on a pulpit and has an influence over a populace and he's pushing the heliocentric model. That's blasphemy.
You know why you
mean,
Brian?
Yeah. Sorry, Neil? Can't hear you, Neil.
One more time, Neil.
I said, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Hello? I said, you're right, because it says nothing in the Bible about a molten iron core.
Yeah, but the point is, it doesn't, even if the Bible, like, I mean, you don't have to try and interpret everything out of the Bible. The Bible doesn't make claims about the earth being a globe. Rather than stating about what it might be pointing to, it makes no claims about the earth being a globe or rotating or a solar system or any of this. None of those claims. Actually, some of the writings in the Bible are opposite. If you go back to Genesis, it's the opposite of what they claim. But it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
the
but
point
they're
is that,
ignorant.
yeah, but hang on. The point is that this man, right, who has an influence, a spiritual influence over a congregation, is blaspheming on the pulpit when he's talking about the heliocentric model. The heliocentric model is anti-creation, not
I
creation.
don't know if he's blaspheming. I don't know if it's blaspheming, but he's misleading, that's for sure.
There's no grey area with blasphemy. There's no grey area. Sorry, Nathan, I kind of ruined your distance to the song question.
It's okay. I've kind of lost control of one of my screens, which is a bit of a pain in the ass, so I'm going to have to round out anyway. So hopefully you can all stay on, because I can't mute you while I do this outro. And maybe I can't even get the outro working. We'll see if it works. But with that, I'm going to say, hopefully, if you are watching this on either Nathan Oakley 1980 Premiering Streams or Nathan Oakley Live, you're going to be saying farewell to us in either event. So goodbye if you've watched live. Smash the super chat. Thank you very much indeed. And all that good stuff. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I will see you all in the next video.
What a day! What a lovely day!